Today we're going to look at a mock draft simulator here and do our own version of the draft that's coming up in a couple weeks and see what we can get and what can be had, because we all know Howie is going to aim for some trades. What's up, it's your boy Cintron, come back at you another analysis / news video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. And today, you can see here, we're going to use the NFL mock draft simulator from Pro Football Network. An excellent one. I did a simulation just before this, but we're going to do a live run here and see what we can get. So first, let's select my team. Obviously, it's going to be the Eagles. I'm going to die hard. We're going to do one round here, and trades are going to be on the table. So let's draft. All right, waiting for the picks to come in. All right, and they're steady flowing in. And when they get to our pick, we'll make a pick, analyze, and then we'll run through 1 through 9 to see what exactly happened. So we have 4 trade offers here. The Saints are offering their first and a second, and Denver's number 2 that they picked up by way of trade. And we're going to say no thanks because that pick is too late for us to be able to make a move and select the top premium blue chipper here at 10. Let's see who else is. Dallas keeps coming with these trades, man. Let's see, the first, the second, the third, 2 and 3, as delicious as this looks, they want our number 94 overall as well. We're gonna say no thanks. We want to, like I said, pick at inside the first, top 10 here, and we're not gonna have a pick like this every year. We were able to fleece the Saints, and we're gonna take advantage of that. Tampa Bay with a 19th overall pick and a first next year, tempting as it is. We have to see what else is out there. Let's see. Okay, let's see what we get by way of rolling the dice here. All right, let's go. All right, we have another trade being offered here, but let's see. It's number 1 and number 2. We'll have to skip out on that. This year's 1 and then a 2 next year. No, and then that. No, we're going to have to reject all of these. Reject. Pause the draft, and let's go and analyze what happened here. So first, the Carolina Panthers took Bryce Young. No surprise there. They wanted a franchise quarterback. They got him. Anthony Richardson is surprised here by the Texans. They obviously see something different in the future there. Not going with C.J. Stroud, so they're choosing to go with a dual threat quarterback. D'Amico Ryans, what are you thinking? I don't know, but you better have a plan. Will Anderson, not a surprise here. The Cardinals stick with adding a edge rusher, the guy who's the best at it in this draft, and had 30+ sacks. I mean, yeah, they need help everywhere, but they decide to just go with Will Anderson. Colts, C.J. Stroud, they get them a top. They get themselves a top tier quarterback. Very good at the intermediate game. Sees the field very well, and the future of the franchise right there. Surprise pick here with Christian Gonzalez going to the Seattle Seahawks, and them not choosing to go with Jalen Carter, but he's probably going to have a precipitous slide. I mean, he could very well have one, but them choosing to pair a cornerback with a guy they got last year in the 5th round out of Texas UTSA. He was a Pro Bowler last year, so they locked down that secondary there. The Lions do choose to go with an edge rusher, pairing Tyree Wilson, the dynamic freak out of Texas Tech, with Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan last year. So that gives them a great set of bookends. And also they have a solid D tackle there. So they're building that line up there. Myles Murphy, not shocking, he ran that 4.51 in his pro day. 275. I mean, he's 6'5", 275, very solid guy out there on the edge. And the Raiders pick him up and add to with the nice DN they have there. I forget his name, but he's a solid pass rusher as well. So Paris Johnson being ticketed here for the Falcons for the rebuild on the O-line. Solid pick. They just signed their guard Lindstrom to a record contract, I think $100+ million. And they're trying to protect their investment in Desmond Ridder. So here we see Broderick Jones, the young redshirt sophomore out of Georgia, being picked here for by the Bears. he's going to anchor that line for for years to come. And they have, a number of positions they need help at as well. But protecting Justin Fields has got to be top tier investment. Will Levis going to learn behind Baker Mayfield there in Tampa. So all the quarterbacks are off the board now, and it's just it's interesting that they tab him in so early. So all the quarterbacks gone by within the top 10 picks, and the Bucks really investing in the future now. But with Mayfield, they at least sit him for a year, give him a chance to acclimate to the game, and I think that's best for all parties involved. And Mayfield, if he proves himself, he can have a payday in the offseason upcoming. Jalen Carter, I know, you guys are gonna flog me for this. Pause. But passing up on him, why would I do so? Because there's other guys in the draft that we're not a D tackle away. And I don't think he's a generational talent at D tackle. I think he's a solid player, but just all the controversy and things surrounding him, why not pick up some future picks? And we'll analyze what we got later. But there's guys in later in the first round and also in the second that we could get. A guy might be able to get swing a trade for or select. So we'll see. But I think either one of those guys would be that I have in mind, Jalen Carter or this guy, I'm not going to mention yet, could be around the same talent level. Devin Witherspoon, the corner, he's the second corner to go off the board. Interesting that he was passed up, because it's pretty much what flavor are you variety do you favor, and he's a fit with the Texans here. And they continue to add as they added a corner last year and make that secondary top tier to defend those receivers there in the AFC South. Peter Skoronski, so the tackle from Northwestern, kind of short arms, alligator arms, and maybe that dropped his stock here a little bit. But the Jets pick him up and add to that talented offensive line that they have and protect their investment in Aaron Rodgers, who they're most likely going to have. But we're going on the assumption that maybe they don't have this pick, but it hasn't been made yet, so we're going to go as is. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the first receiver off the board. Patriots add a kind of replacement for the Jacoby Myers, who just left. But could he be an upgrade? Maybe. But he obviously has talent, but it's too early for me to draft a receiver here. That would be a secondary need for the Eagles. Jordan Addison is the receiver following him, goes to Green Bay, so they're trying to surround Jordan Love with plenty of options to throw at. And they're not done here, adding a guy, but he's going to fit more in the slot. I don't know how that works out with Dobbs, or maybe he could, they can try him out on the outside first, but I don't know, similar receiver there. I'd want to go maybe someone like Quentin Johnson, but Johnston, we'll see where he goes. Keely Ringo goes here before Joey Porter, so a little bit surprising, but they're got to be intrigued by that size. Maybe they switch him over to safety there in Washington. Don't know. Brian Breesy going a little bit high here, but I mean, interesting that Dallas is focusing once again on that defensive line, and they've been investing in defensive line for years and years now. But there's a saying that you can never have too many pass rushers. Which I believe the Eagles have a solid number, which is why I was willing to pass on Jalen Carter. Lucas Van Ness, the bull rushing young sophomore redshirt out of Iowa, is going here to the Texans, so they continue adding talent to that defensive line there, and trying to give D'Amico Ryan some pieces to work with there on defense. And here we have the Eagles. So I don't even tell you where I'm going with this. I'm going to draft Bijan. I believe that he's a generational talent, and he's a top 10 talent, maybe top 5 talent, and he falls to us here. Easy pick. So I go ahead and turn my card in right now. Bam. He's off the board, and we will see what happens next. Don't know if people are going to ask me to... Okay, here we go. A trade down. So let's see what these offers are looking like. So we have a second here from the Bears, and then I think third, they're pretty close. And at 2, intriguing, but they want my third as well, so I'm gonna have to say no. All right, this is interesting. There's a player here that they want, so I would be willing to make this trade because I pick up a 2 next year, and then I can maybe swing that. But no, they want my 3 this year, so I'm gonna have to say no. All right, pick number 35. I would say I would make this trade, but just for the sake of this draft, I want to make a pick. But this is a trade I actually would go with. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to reject all 3 of these. I would go with this one. So let's screenshot this and we'll save it for later. I'm going to reject. And let's see. Let's pause the draft and let's see who we go with here. There are quite a few people available. And I got to believe, even though I'm kind of torn here, I want to say that the Eagles would go with Kalijah Kancey. I think he'd be the better bet here. So you get a running back and then you get a D tackle. That would fit perfectly. But I'm going to go with my personal pick. I'm going to go with Ade Tomiwa Adebawore. And then, let's see, what did we end up with? So, I know what you're thinking. I picked Bijan Robinson, and with that, I traded down. So the Bucks made me a deal. They gave me their first round pick and a first next year, and it was just too much for me to pass up. So I just had to take that. So that gives us 2 first rounders and 2 second rounders next year. And then the compensatory picks coming in. We're going to have maybe 2 3s and then two 4s or 3 4s. So we're going to be absolutely loaded next year. But there were some offers as well here. I'll look at those. I'll show you the full results. But let's look at first the picks that we weren't able to evaluate. So Michael Myers goes to the Seahawks. So they're kind of bolstering. I think they already have a tight end there, but double tight end sets give Geno more weapons. That just makes sense. Cam Smith, talented corner out of Carolina. Maybe a steal here for the Ravens. Pairing him with Humphreys gives them a duo of corners to defend those receivers there in their division. Darnell Wright, talented tackle. I don't know if he's going over to, I think maybe the right side, trying to shore up their deficiencies there. And they already have a solid one, and I forget what's his name, but it gives them a solid bookend set of tackles. And Joey Porter, the junior finally goes here. He goes to the Minnesota Vikings, and they sorely in need of a corner last year. So Patrick Peterson was their best corner last year, but he left for greener pastures and free agency, and they need a guy to come in. And they're not done at bringing in guys, but this is a start and a talented corner who's going to give them someone to work with for years to come. All right, let's keep going. Brian Branch brought in by the Jaguars, so it gives them a solid safety to pair with their other safety, who picked us off in the Jaguars rain game. Very nice, solid guy. So I mean, they also have another corner. So it gives them a solid trio in that secondary. The Giants addressing a big hole here with Deontay Banks. I mean, they get a supreme talent steal here once again at number 25. The blazing big corner out of Maryland makes them once again have a solid defender there at the perimeter after they got rid of the corner Bradbury they gave us. Appreciate it. Nolan Smith, coming off the edge there to pair with TJ Watt, gives them a great bookend of rushers. And he's faster than TJ, but he can come in and learn from a guy who's the same as him, his prototype. Quentin Johnson adding to the Bills receiving core, trying to give Josh Allen more weapons to top out, that put them over the top there over in the AFC and advance past those Chiefs and those pesky Bengals. And speaking of those Bengals, they get a tight end here that's good at route running, and gives them another weapon for I almost said Andy Dalton for Joe Burrows to further burrow his way into the hearts of Bengals fans. Anton Harrison, so tackle here. Man, if he was available, I might have wavered here. He would give us a nice swing tackle for this year, and a guy to also maybe put in. Also back up, as guard or definitely not center, but to give us some depth there. So we're in sore need of that as well. And closing out here with DeJuan Jones, so that the Chiefs they mysteriously go with a bookend tackle here, even though I thought they had their line kind of settled. But I don't know if they have a hole there on the right side. Did they fill that with after the pick? They call it a sack machine. Had 9 sacks last year allowed left. So I think that fills that hole. So I might be mistaken. But let's look at the full results of our trades. Let's look at the results here. So we got this one next year. And I know you're saying I didn't get any picks for this year, but you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to actually try and use some of this as draft capital, chiefly the number 2 that I have from the Saints for next year. So I'm going to use that as collateral to trade back into this draft. And I don't need it in the second round. I'm trying to get picks for the middle rounds. So a 3rd, 4th, 5, and I'm also going to do some wheeling and dealing there if I can. Like I said, with having a plethora of picks next year, I'm not going to trade that first, but I'd be more willing to trade from round 2nd on down. And I know you're like, oh man, a 2nd round pick is valuable, but you got to look at having a stockpile. We're have 12. We're slated to have about 12 picks or so. We're not going to use all those. So obviously, you can use them to either trade for players or to trade for draft capital this year. And future picks are not going to be as valuable as picks now because teams are in always win now. They call it operate now mode. But that being said, it gives us a great hand to deal with. If it's a spades, baby, we'd be winning. So we're going to move on to some news around the league. Not too much going on. So Odell Beckham is visiting the Jets, and this is kind of a foregone conclusion. It's one of the 3 teams that he's looking at, and we'll see who he goes to, if how he's evaluated and what he's looking like. They're going to kick the tires and see if they can add to that receiving core there. The last thing we'll look at here is Super Bowl loss impacting Jason Kelce's return. He's like, it's close. He's like, I think if we would have won, he would have rolled off into the sunset. But with us losing, just extra incentive for him to come back and try and end his run on a good note, end it with another ring, and then, say his goodbyes. But what better way to go out than with jewelry piece number 2. But with that, we're going to get up out of here. I know you're not even watching, though. It's all good. This was fun for me today. I'd love to do it again before the draft, and we'll see. Maybe we'll do rounds 2 and 3 as well. So we'll add in, some little caveats, maybe stipulations, conditions, and whatnot. But anyways, you're not even watching, though. But it's all good, because as always, it's fly, Eagles, fly, and let's mother go! Like, comment, share, subscribe if you Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.